Salut tout le monde, on est dans une salle de conférence dans le booth de AJ et on va s'entretenir avec John Thorne. Hey John, how are you?
Salut, ça va?
Ça va très bien. I see you got a little French there.
Petite part.
So high school is not
Yeah,
that far off?
high school was, the beard is to make me look older. So yeah, high school was not that long ago.
John, you sound exhausted. I think you've been busy the last couple of days with these amazing announcements that you have here. I see in next to your left hand the new AJ baby, the Kai Pro or the KI Pro. How do you guys pronounce it?
We keep our running joke of how do you pronounce, is it Aja, AJA? Now people are confused. Is it Kai Pro? Is it Kip Pro? Is it Key Pro? It's actually Key Pro, and it's actually AJA.
So it's like Key Pro Quo.
Key Pro Quo. Ooh, interesting and funny. It's key because key in Japanese is this sort of hard to explain essence and feeling, and it's interrelated to the Chinese chi. So, sort of an inner essence. We just thought that would be interesting to name it that.
Why don't you tell me about the inner essence of the Key Pro?
Okay, no problem. The device is a small, lightweight, portable recorder that's capable of recording Apple ProRes 422 and Apple ProRes 422 HQ QuickTimes. So no need for transcoding. It creates instant ready-to-edit video. You literally make your recordings to the device, and then you take the device and you simply remove the media. The media is connected to the host via a SATA connection, so very fast. But when you want to take it and put it on your MacBook Pro or your Mac Pro, you just connect it via FireWire 800. It's a FireWire bus-powered drive, so it just mounts instantly on your desktop. It's formatted just like a Mac drive. It is a Mac drive, so no weird formatting issues. You see the device, you go into Final Cut, you say import file, no transcoding, no login transfer, no login capture, instantly ready. You just pipe it in, you literally drop it on your timeline and start editing. In fact, I wish it were more difficult because it would be something exciting to explain, but that's all what it does. In terms of raw sort of connectivity, the device is fully outfitted so that basically what we're able to do is record from prosumer and consumer HDMI sources, professional SDI sources, and component for legacy devices like SD high-quality cameras. Then we have a simple composite output for feeding Video Village. Timecode in and out because we wanted to be able to make certain that we could get the timecode from the source devices. It's also embedded in the timecode inside of the SDI stream. We also have analog audio, which is a mic line or even phantom power switch, and then these little consumer jacks for the moments where you have cameras that are really off the beaten path, so to speak. We have some other connectors over here that we like to say are our future connectors. You can kind of take a guess if you look at them. We're not going to talk about those in detail. What we will talk about is the Ethernet jack. Why it's important is you can actually have several of these units. If you know the IP address, use any web browser, tunnel into the device, make your changes, playback media. It's very, very intuitive. And you'll notice we have a little Wi-Fi jack. And part of the reason I have an iPhone sitting here is that if you have Wi-Fi in a device and you have an iPhone or an iPod Touch, you will be able to use a UI like this, which is actually just a web browser that's been dropped onto the home page. You could then go in and control the device and do simple playback, assign parameters. So imagine that the device is somewhere you can't reach. You can hit the record button, know when to stop it. You want to review the take, call up the clip, hit play, rewind, fast forward. Again, very, very simple and straightforward. We tried to make what we call, this is the connector side, robust and also protected. These are actually tension tamers, and they also protect the unit if you ever put it like this. There's no concern that you're going to jam weight against these BNC connectors. We wanted to protect the unit. Additionally, if you look at the front of it, it's just a simple, very easy to understand VTR-like interface. That way everybody knows what it does. Simple little pop-in, pop-out audio knobs, both for headphones and for the actual levels. You'll notice there are only 3 simple buttons, not a whole wide range like most VTRs. They are status, which you can toggle while you're working just to know what's coming into the thing, what clip you're on, so on and so forth. Config, where you make all your configurations. And media, where you're selecting whether you're recording to the drive bay or the 2 express card slots. This is actually a Wi-Fi cover for the Wi-Fi that we have on the back, so we're compliant throughout the world. Also, in addition to having these little tethers to sort of protect the little handles and tether your cable in, we also have this thing we call the exoskeleton. The advantage of this is that you can take the unit, and we saw a lot of devices on the market that mounted to the backs of cameras, snapped on batteries. We've seen things hung off of everything. We decided what would be sensible would be to take this device and put it underneath of the camera.
Good call.
That way, everything else that you've got that's an accessory, this is in the road. Also, the center of gravity and the weight of the camera is actually in the exact same spot. We also gave it a sliding base plate with a little back knob on it. You'll notice if you look at the units out in the booth, they're in different positions. Some cameras are very short, some are very long. You can slide it because what you want to do is align it with these rod adapters. This is a simple sliding 15 millimeter standard video and film rod mount. You'll notice on the booth again, we have tricked out versions in any variety of shapes and forms. They could have video taps on mounts, they could have batteries on mounts, they could have other conversion products on a mount, map boxes, follow focuses. At the very least, it gets you from not Velcroing things and zip tying and other crazy things. So.
That's, you know what, I think you've covered just about all of my questions. I was just wondering what if the drive was a hard drive, is it solid state?
That's interesting. We actually will offer this. This is the shipping unit, is a 250 gigabyte industrial grade 2.5 inch serial ATA spinning mechanism. Now, keeping that in mind, most of the time if you were on a tripod mount situation, this would be perfectly acceptable. And in fact, even in a handheld situation, this would be perfectly acceptable. But we are offering SSD versions that go on these cartridges for moments where, say, you're in whitewater rafting and you're afraid you're going to bang it around, or you're G-force, you're bungee jumping. You know that on a tape transport, one of the classic stories that I actually was a part of was a guy kept calling me going, something must be wrong. I jump off and then I get no footage. And I said, well, are you using camera with a tape? The tape had literally, the G-force was so strong he saw himself falling, but when it snapped him back up, it actually disengaged the tape heads. So in solid state, because it's purely electrical and has no moving parts, that would never happen. So we also think price point is an important part of this. 250 gigabytes is included, but if you want more cartridges, you're only looking at $269 US MSRP, so roughly $1 a gigabyte. If you go to SSDs, you're looking at 128 gigabytes is going to be in the neighborhood of $695, which while that might sound a pinch expensive, compared to a lot of other solid state, it's very cost effective.
So what's the going rate for the full unit with
the full unit has the drive, the actual recorder, and an AC power supply. The total cost on the unit MSRP is $3,995 US.
I know a client of ours that wants 10, like tomorrow.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to give them 10 tomorrow. Our shipping date, it is operational at the show. We've done quite a bit of test work already. It's been in development for quite a while. It's very robust already because it's withstood thousands of people abusing it at the booth without breaking. We're very happy about that. The big thing to me is we need a thorough QA process. This is a multifaceted device that's going to connect to a number of other products, and so our QA process will drive the ship date into June.
Okay, cool. That's totally awesome. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me, this is my hit pick of this year's NAB. So congratulations on this.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
for Final Cut users of interest is the LHI and the IO Express. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, the LHI, in simplest terms, is basically a next-gen version of our original LH and LHE cards. What we've done is essentially taken the LH and LHE cards, and we've added HDMI 1.3 in and out. So we have deep color support, 10-bit quality if you have, say, a Dream Color monitor from HP, and other new monitors coming on the market with new 1.3 connection. That's one thing. The other thing is it has 3 gigabit SDI, which also is important for, again, next-gen sort of hardware devices. So for the most part, it seems like an LH card to most people, but the good news is it's actually even more cost-effective than that product. It's now $14.90. The previous product was $17.90. A lot of this stuff, actually, the cost goes down because there's enough of it in the market and you engineer enough of it, you can actually reduce your cost. AJA is not really a price gouging company, as you might expect. You know, we're really about trying to solve problems. If you look at these products, you can tell that we really put our heart into them. I was a cameraman for many years. If I had had this, I would have been a much happier person. We also have the IO Express. And this also, we're trying to, again, answer a question that's being asked. This is really designed for file-based workflows, whether it's our own ProRes file-based workflow or workflows from Panasonic or Sony or JVC, where they record onto some small solid-state devices. There's no need for the capture card. What you're really doing with this is using it mostly for playout. So we have simple audio monitoring. We have a component output. We do have next-gen input-output, so we have HDMI and SDI. And because we feel it's an on-set compatible device, since it weighs under 2 pounds, literally it weighs almost nothing, we decided we would put timecode in on both SDI and a reference jack that can be switched to LTC timecode. And then we connect to a simple Express Card 34 via a little Molex style connector cable, very common, and then we have RS-422 for mastering back to tape. The form factor on the front we again made very simple, a headphone jack, very similar to what we saw on Key Pro. Again, plug in your headphones and just a power key. So we think this is something you'll shove it in your bag. You'll be able to work with all those file-based workflows. Not so much worried about it as a capture device, although we do have inputs on the unit.
So it's basically the LH for all of us shooting with S/S cards or the new AVCHD cameras, all of that.
Well, one of the things at the booth that we're demonstrating is XDCam EX compressed footage is what we tend to be playing back at the booth. So normally if we were using our AJA IOHD product, that wouldn't be an ideal combination because that device is very ProRes centric. This device is relying entirely on the CPU. So whatever the CPU can play back, this should be able to pump out to all kinds of monitors and speakers and whatnot, even headphones, as you noticed on the front.
And the going rate for this?
This is probably the most incredible thing because AGA, historically, everyone has said, oh, we really like your products, but for some of us, they're a little too expensive. This is $995 US dollars MSRP. So we hope that for people who are cost conscious, we've given them at least some choice.
That's excellent. All I can ask now is what's next?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you. Our development cycle now, you know, it wasn't just desktop products at the show. There's also important Hi-Fi 3G converter, which is 3 gigabit compatible, but also has some other nice DVI and HDMI features. There's updates to our FS1 all-in-one rack mount converter. To me, I mean, if you look at it, we're trying to branch into acquisition. We've been doing editorial and post-production and conversions for broadcast for 15 years. Basically, our goal is to just try and answer the problems and come up with solutions.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time. All right. On l'a vu, les nouveautés chez Aja, et on va pouvoir suivre tous les développements de ça durant l'été. Merci.